Welcome back to the Padilla family homestead. We've got a few things we need to take care of, part of which is this Comfrey, which you'll get a better look at in a second. I am in the front yard, so I apologize for cars. I just had to restart this because of a plane going overhead. It is what it is. But today's video I wanted to kind of talk about, as I do a few things, intentionality. I talk about intentionality a lot because that's something our family has decided to live with and have that be a focus, and kind of why we believe that's important and why that became such a focus. So we're gonna jump in and I'm gonna show you this beautiful Comfrey. We have been dipping down cool in the mornings. Tonight's supposed to get down close to 40, so I also need to get my aloe vera inside. Not 100% set up for that yet, but it's gonna be what it is and we will get there. So first, let's take a look at this Comfrey. This plant is beautiful. It has been producing a ton. I know frost is not that far away on our calendar, and I'm gonna go ahead and just harvest a bunch of these bigger leaves and anything that's already broken. We have two small ones. I'm gonna get some of these outer leaves before this thing dies for the winter. So for our salve, anything I'm going to use inside, I still want good looking leaves. Anything that I'm going to use for fertilizer, I'm going to put on the ground. How big? I mean, it's pretty long. So my goal here is to cut down all of the bigger leaves, trying to leave the smaller leaves so the plant still has green to photosynthesis. I went ahead and I decided that I'm going to go ahead and put all the leaves together, and I can separate out later what I want to use as fertilizer and what I want to use as salve. Once I bring it inside, anything that has a lot of rot, like you could see at the bottom right hand of the screen right now, I'm not using. I'm just chopping and dropping right in place. But I was so surprised with how much Comfrey I got. This is crazy. It's so beautiful. This is a plant that I planted this spring. This is so much Comfrey. This is amazing. This is more than we're gonna need. I'm hopefully gonna dry some of this, make some Christmas presents, but I'm also gonna do a tea with it for the garden. Anything that was really like rotting, this has little dots on it. I'm just chopping and dropping up here, and it will break down and be good fertilizer for the garden. So let's get this inside. I'm gonna go ahead and cut off that rotten piece. We need to get the weed out of here. I'm kind of gonna tap this around and just make sure most of the bugs are out of this. I don't see any spiders. And we're gonna go ahead and bring this inside the kitchen for now and deal with this later. For the moment, this big old basket is just going to sit on the floor. And I need to build a shelf to put the aloe vera on. If I don't get that done today, it'll end up on top of my island. We have been rearranging in our kitchen. I took out one of these bookshelves that's going in our guest room. I moved this sideways instead of being in front of the windows. And I'm going to end up adding some curtains around the top parts. Moved lights down to this bottom section. And then I'm going to add a small bookcase over here. My island's a disaster right now. So a small bookcase in there that I can put like the aloe vera on top of. So it's in front of the window. And then we have the island pushed against the window for now. And then we'll be able to pull this out when I want to use it inside and have it against the wall when I don't want to use it. So this has been a work in progress this last weekend. But it's been a good one. Got all the pumpkin-y stuff. We need more, but that's what we have for right now. We went grocery shopping and that was part of our meal planning. So I can show you my future plan. I'm going to dry that comfrey. Once it's dry, I'm going to put it into olive or avocado oil. This one's in avocado oil. And let it steep. This has been steeping since 7/22. It is now October 21st. So this is way past time to go ahead and strain it. So this is a project that's coming up soon. I'm going to strain this and turn it into salve. And then I also have some calendula flowers that have been steeping. Just so you have an idea of what I'm doing with all that comfrey. So let's have a quick chat about intentionality and why that is such a focus for our family and how we kind of got there. There are points in everybody's life that you hit a point of survival a lot of times. And throughout my life, I have been in survival mode many times. And in survival mode, a lot of times you react to whatever is going on. You are just doing the next thing in front of you. And throughout the last 43 years of my life, I've gone through a lot of different internal journal. I have gone through a lot of internal journeys and a lot of battles, basically, struggles. And it has given me an opportunity to dig in. And when you're there and you're in that survival mode, you think there has to be something better than this. It has to get better than this. And you're hoping for that better. And a lot of times we're hoping for that better to come magically. That it's just all of a sudden one day going to be better. And sometimes it magically gets better, but most of the time it doesn't. And so when I started to intentionally put things into place, and intentionally chose this thought over another thought, when I intentionally chose to eat this food over another food, when I intentionally chose to work through and battle through the hard things versus ignoring them, my life changed. Now, are there still storms? Yes. Are there still hardships? Yes. The difference is I went from survival to thriving, even in the middle of chaos sometimes, even in the middle of hard times. And with that, sometimes the only thing that's different is your perspective. Sometimes the way you're looking at things changes how you respond to them. And when you do that, everything changes. And so when I really started noticing that with just a few things in my life, that's when I said, oh, I need to really start implementing this in all areas of my life. And when my husband and I got together, we really, some of our first decisions probably were not super intentional, I will say that. But when we really started sitting down and we started talking about what kind of marriage we wanted to have, what kind of life we wanted to have, one of the things that was a united concept was we did not want to be in survival mode all the time. We did not want to be in constant conflict all the time. We did not want to have certain things. And so the way to not have those certain things was to live with intentionality. So that all sounds great, I'm sure, but then it comes into how do you put that into practice and how do you choose intentionality? And great, you have a spouse that is on board with you. And I'm lucky, guys. I am so blessed to have the husband that I have. And I know not everybody is in that situation. But the thing is, I have to choose intentionality from my perspective in my heart shift. He has to choose intentionality for his perspective and his heart shift. And so when that happens together, it's amazing and it's beautiful. But when you do it individually, it's still amazing and it still helps and it still grows. I had to figure out me ahead of time before I could figure out us. And God waited to bring me my husband until I had already gone through a huge portion of my healing. And then God used him to help be to lead me, basically, to be a partner with me in life and continue healing and learning and growing and so forth. And the last 8 years of us being married, we have gone through points where we were in survival. We have gone through points where we should have been in survival and we were in the thriving mentality. And that's not saying there's no problems. That's not saying that there's not issues and there's things that we have to work through. It doesn't mean we don't say things and hurt each other's feelings, because we do. But it is a matter of, for us, it was intentionally setting a foundation. And so when you start to do and live life intentionally in one area, and you have that practice in place, it gets easier to start adding intentionality into new areas in your life, and it changes all kinds of things. And it's amazing. So that is why we look at why we think we put it into practice, right? Why it's so important to us, because both of us in our pasts before being together have gone through phases of life where there was no intentionality. And the difference when there is intentionality is important. The other reason why we think intentionality is important is because basically throughout all of Scripture, you have to be intentional. You have to deny yourself, pick up your cross, and follow Christ. You are intentionally making decisions that go against our selfish desires, basically. And so being able to practice intentionality in food, in relationship, in what we watch, in what we say, what music we listen to, what events we engage in, or whatever, all actually ends up meeting up and going with Why are we the why? Why are we choosing these things to be intentional about? Why are we being intentional in this way? And it all leads back to the scripture, and it all leads back to God leading us. And so I wanted to make sure, as we are sharing the fact that, I mean, I've talked about many times that we are intentionally living, right? That's the title of our website. On there is intentionally living, intentionally choosing different foods, intentionally making certain decisions and choices with skincare. And a lot of that comes into the homesteading lifestyle, and we intentionally chose these things. But the core of it is, the why we're choosing to intentionally do those things isn't because it's a fad, isn't because of outside influences. It's because of what's going on in here. I will get sucked in to those Instagram reels faster than anything else, or silly Facebook shorts or whatever, right? Like, I will get sucked into them so fast, and I will doom scroll for an hour and then be like, oh man, I was supposed to do this, or I was supposed to do that. And a lot of times it's like laying in bed and it's trying to go to sleep. I'm not going to sleep because my brain's so engaged in these silly things. Or when I first wake up, I'm not getting out of bed, I'm looking at my phone, and man, it has been a struggle. And I just recently, you know me, you know how hard this is for me, but I took Facebook and Instagram off of my phone, completely took it off my phone. And that has been, I didn't realize how much of a challenge that was going to be for me, but it definitely was a challenge. But I am trying to make sure that I'm being intentional and being in the Word. I have a study that I'm doing at church right now. We're going through Practicing the Way, and I need to read that book and go through that study stuff. We have our normal Sunday sermon that we are going through 1 Corinthians right now, so have time for that. Plus, I'm doing a side study on prayer, and I need to have time for that, let alone time to get lunches ready and prepare food and work full-time, create YouTube videos, and do all the things. Now, you'll notice in the social media I took down, I did not take down YouTube. I know I shared on a video last week that I'm going down to 1 time a week, which I am. But that doesn't mean I'm going away, because I don't plan to go away. I just want to make sure I'm sharing things with intention, that I have a reason for the content that I'm sharing, and that I'm sharing value. So sometimes it's going to be conversations. Sometimes I'm going to be showing you what I'm doing. Sometimes I'm going to be teaching you. By the way, one thing I hope to teach you is don't cut comfrey without gloves on. This is the second time I've done it, and I have a rash up my arm. It's so itchy because they're prickly, and it's making my arms itch like crazy. So I'm actually going to have to go put something on this. Oh, I should put my calendula salve on it. Hold that thought. I'm going to go get that. I'm going to put some of this on, and hopefully it'll help. This is a lavender calendula salve that I made a while back ago. I always forget this, and it's not like you can actually remind me because I record these videos without you here, but I'm going to remind you. Don't pick comfrey without long sleeves and gloves on, because your arms will be very angry with you. Okay, so being intentional with time. That is something that I am shifting my focus on big time. Actually, I'm putting my focus on that big time, because we only have so much time. And goodness gracious, the day I'm recording this is October 21st. And where did this year go? We moved in to this duplex. We got keys February 14th. We moved in over that weekend. I was sick that weekend. And we had a snowstorm right afterwards. Craziness. But I still feel like there's things like I haven't gotten the garage organized yet. That's been on my to-do list for forever. I had the guest room kind of done, but now I have gift stuff all over the place because that closet's going to be our gift closet. So I've got to get that closet organized, and we have company coming over. The holidays are going to be here. And before you know it, 2026 is going to be here. And all of that is like, wow, where did this time go? And so that is kind of what I am focusing on, is intentionality with time. And it is probably my big, no, I don't know, I think that is my biggest struggle. I've actually taken a time management course. I will get sucked into whatever I'm doing and then go, oh my goodness, you've seen it on videos, where I am all of a sudden, oh, I have to go to work. I got to get done. My project is not going to get done in time. And so these are things that I would like to intentionally work on. They're not magically going to fix themselves. If anything else, they're magically going to get worse. So that's kind of what I'm working on. So this week I am intentionally going through our pantry on my times off, getting myself ready for fall cooking, rearranging the kitchen to get plants in, to get our comfrey drying before the frost comes. I've got to get the garden ready. There's lots of things going on. But it's not all going to happen unless I'm intentional with my time. And so that is where I am encouraging you today, and where I'm going to leave this video off on right now, because I have to go get ready for work. I'm not actually running behind though, so that's a good thing. But I do want to encourage you to pick something in your life to be intentional on. And I will share recipes, and I'm going to share gardening, and I'm going to share all those things. And maybe I don't mention being intentional in all the videos, but I'm doing those things with intentionality. There's a reason why I'm planting what I'm planting, or making what I'm making, or organizing what I'm organizing, because there is intentionality behind it. And I'm going to try to get better about sharing some of that stuff, because not just the how, but the why I'm doing it, because sometimes I feel like I don't share that completely. But that's it for today. What you saw, I will share this. What you saw is, I don't want to sit and doom eat this entire bag of my guilty pleasures. They're not really guilty pleasures. It says organic coconut milk, organic tapioca flour, organic coconut sugar, organic egg, sea salt, and organic sesame seed. I love these. But I can sit here just like anybody can sit with a bag of chips and munch on them. So I am putting them into smaller bags, so I don't just sit there and eat the whole thing. And I share this, I spread it out, my enjoyment, for a while. But we will see you back on the next video here at the Padilla Family Homestead. And I hope that you are doing something, living with intention. And I would love to hear what you're doing in the comments. We'll see you on the next one.